Hey guys, welcome back to In the World Not of It. I'm Lane,
I'm Siddons.
I'm Matt.
I'm Lincoln.
and this week we're talking about the Tower of Babel.
We're just going to carry on with our Falls of Humanity, what we've been talking about the past two episodes. But before we get started with that, we want to thank y'all for liking our newest post. And today we're actually filming on the day where we posted earlier today, if that makes any sense. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. you can find us on YouTube or Spotify, which y'all should definitely go follow and
Right
like
here.
and turn on your notifications.
Everywhere. Right here on the
If you're on YouTube, it'll be right here. Our camera's working this week. This is also, what am I thinking? Oh, go follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well. Forgot to bring that up. All right, let's start with Matthew. Will you say
Yep.
the verses?
Okay. So it starts in Genesis 11. I think it's basically the whole. No, it's like half of it. So basically, if you're unfamiliar, this story of Tower of Babel happens right after the flood, and I thought that was interesting because it shows that even if like the whole world just got wiped out because of sin, and they go immediately back to doing something wrong. And so I'll just read. So 11, Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. Now the whole earth had one language and the same words. And as people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its tops in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth." And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of man had built. And the Lord said, "Behold, they are one people, and they have all one language, and this is only the beginning of what they will do. And nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of all the earth, and they left off building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord dispersed them over the face of all the earth.
That also, did we say where that comes from? Genesis 11.
Yeah.
Also, the story of Noah that leads up to that. That's from. Hold on, I need to actually look at something.
It's like a big chunk of a few chapters.
So Genesis 5 through 9, that is like the whole story. It sets up Noah, and it's the story of Noah. I had to research that. And then Genesis 10, I didn't realize when I was making these notes. I'm on paper today. I'm not just on my phone. It skips chapter 10. Hold on.
It's a genealogy.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say that?
Genealogy.
That's
Which
Genesis 10.
oftentimes I just kind of skim over that. I don't really get too deep into that because it's a lot of information.
I don't. There's so many relatives and brothers and cousins and mothers and sons in the Bible. My notes. Hold on. Let me look. So obviously, these people were obviously who was it? Babylonians, right?
I don't know if they're I don't think it's Babylonian, but it's people of Babel.
Moved eastward. They found it. Okay, so yeah, these people settled in Shinar. I'm just gonna, I guess, what's it called? Simplify it. They settled in this place called Shinar, which will become Babylonia, right?
I think it's just Babel.
Yeah, Babel. And God comes down. They're trying to build this tower to the heavens, as they say. And I feel like one of the things we see in the Bible a lot that goes along with this is the people think, so they would build like these pyramids. Obviously, we've heard about that. We've heard our youth pastor talk about that. They'll build these pyramids, and they go all the way up, thinking maybe the gods will dwell in the top, right? I'm not getting this. I'm like not getting confused or anything.
I think
You know what I'm talking?
Yeah.
And so basically, they always build these tall towers and tall pyramids for the gods to come and dwell, thinking if you sacrificed up there, that the gods would eat your food and he would bless your nation.
Yeah.
kind of like how the Greeks had a thing on Mount Olympus, like
Yeah.
the temple there.
Exactly. And that's why they would build really tall. So he's wanting to build, so I'm going to call them the Babylonians. I don't really know what people, they just says they're moving eastward, unless I'm missing something. So these people are moving eastward. They want to build in Shinar. And I think I can see people getting mad. Like, why would God not allow these people, to build their community in the place where they choose?
Putting themselves on the same level as God.
Exactly. They're trying to build themselves up almost with the tower. I feel like it could be a symbol.
Yeah.
I'm starting to sound like English teacher, but I feel like it's almost symbolic. They're trying to build themselves up to be on God's level, kind of like they're doing with this tower. And as we know, you can do whatever in this world. You're not going to be. God is way up here. Just for you visual learners on YouTube, God's way up here. And we don't deserve his love, yet he shows it to us every single day. And when you feel like you don't deserve God's love, we don't, yet he's still there. So God's going to love you no matter what. But yeah, visual learners, God's up here. They're trying to build to that level. It's not possible, not how it works. They can build however big they want this tower. They can have this community. They can sacrifice whatever. It's not enough to get to God's level. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I just got out of practice. I'm still kind of winded. But I feel like that is why he tears them down, obviously, and then they scatter.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
So the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of all the earth. And they left off building the city.
Doesn't Babel mean confusion?
It's like Babel, like Babble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? I know, but I
Babel is just like.
Does that not have a meaning? Oh, that makes sense.
Like babbling.
Yeah, babbling.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry. I'm also eating, so if the rapper's really loud, I'm sorry. But
Okay.
my bad. Somebody say something. I'm chewing.
Okay.
My bad.
Well, I was gonna talk about how this story is an example of how God's plan is, or we have a plan for our lives, but God also has a plan, and that plan's more important than whatever plan we have. Because they had this big idea for a city. They're going to build, what was it? Let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the whole earth. So they were building it just so that they could have a name for themselves and be famous. And that's obviously just rooted not in anything good. But, yeah, God has a plan for me, for Lincoln, for Siddons, for Lane, for you watching at home. And yeah, sound
guy.
He has a plan for all of us, and that plan is perfect. And if that makes the stuff we go through for the plan may not be perfect, but the result is perfect. Because there's a lot of stuff that can happen in our lives that'll affect what we do and the decisions we make, but it'll eventually lead us to a greater purpose. And to know your plan is to have a strong relationship with God and have him speak to you so you can know it. And it's not like a big old, you see the face of God in the clouds and he says, oh, I'm going to do this for you. It's like once you know God, it sort of becomes your natural instinct, his plan. And it's like, I kind of don't like this. I guess it's a decent visual. Like in the cartoons when they had the angel on the shoulder and the devil on the shoulder. It's not a devil and an angel. It's Jesus and Satan. It's those two going back and forth. And you obviously need to listen to Jesus himself in order to have a good plan. And yeah, so if you just have a strong relationship with God, that stuff will come natural to you and you'll be able to follow that plan that he has.
I'm still chewing. My bad. I need to stop talking with my mouth full. As Unc would say, I need manners. Hold on. I talked about this last night. We were here, and it's I don't know. What is y'all's opinion, or almost like y'all's thoughts, when it comes to having like genuine faith? So like, I mean, for instance, I talked about this last night with Matthew and Lane after you left. When I was younger, I would always think about, God and prayer, and if I was doing, the right thing. And I would, while I was praying, I would do the normal prayer, maybe at night or whatever. But I always knew in the back of my mind, like, I'm doing this just so God, sees me. Because I feel like if I did that, that's I thought of it like a tally mark on my good list almost, like a naughty or nice list.
It's kind of like
And then
saying you pray for somebody, and you don't actually pray for them.
Yeah,
it's more of like a check mark for your good box.
oh, I say I'd like, but then I'm also like this, like God knows I'm just doing this, so so He sees me.
Yeah.
But now, ever since we started this podcast, I can truly say, I feel like it's been more genuine the way I've, talked or encouraged people, the way I've, tried to spread the word, whether it's in small ways or big ways, even through this. For the past week, I can genuinely say that the faith felt, the prayer, everything, it felt genuine.
Not only do you feel it, you see it.
You see it, exactly.
You absolutely see it. Me and Lincoln had a moment yesterday where we saw it. We saw what God is doing. We saw how He's working through me and his lives, through our podcast. We saw it.
Through y'all's lives, too.
Yep.
And there's going to get to a point, you might be thinking, you might be in a spot right now where you're lukewarm, some would say, or you're still not on the fence about it. There's a lot of people that are on the fence. And with Christianity, you can't stay in one spot forever, because when you I have a quote, actually, I think. It's like,
the tree falls the way it leans.
Exactly. And
yeah.
If you don't lean towards God, there's a less chance that the tree falls toward Him. The tree being your life. But the quote that I have that really I feel like captures, hold on.
But it's also, you don't need to be leaning towards God. You need to be all the way.
Exactly.
You almost need to be falling.
Yes, you need to be falling.
Oh, when it feels scary to jump in, that's exactly when you jump. Otherwise, you end up staying in the same place your whole life. So when you're scared that this person might cut off this friendship because I start doing the things with the Lord, maybe it looks weird. Maybe it looks even embarrassing. Me and Sins were talking about yesterday, putting hands up during, service. Maybe it feels uncomfortable. Maybe you're scared to jump in because of what others in the world might think of you. That doesn't matter. Christianity is something you dive head first in or start running towards, and you don't look back.
All that matters is you're doing it to praise the Lord. You're doing it for your good.
Exactly. And I felt like to have genuine faith, you have to put into work and study. I've studied more of the Bible the past 2-3 weeks doing this podcast, and I feel like my eyes are. Now, I'm still obviously working. You should always be working and practicing. I'm not saying I'm perfect now. I'm not even close to perfect. But I feel like, I'm starting to go towards in the right direction, doing better. I feel like I'm doing better. And I hope that this podcast, whenever you listen to it, maybe something hits in your brain. Maybe it clicks, and it pushes you to start doing better, too, in the ways of the Lord and not the earth.
I do want to say something. I got asked a question today by someone, and they know who they are. They don't want to be named, but they were talking about relationships, like with God and with like how that works. And with a relationship with God is definitely a lot different, but almost, I don't want to say similar, but it's kind of the same. I'm not sure how to word it. As with a person, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have a friend, let's say, and you're always like just lying to him, not doing stuff with him, but you still do all that, then is it really your friend?
Yeah.
But with God, He will always forgive you, but it's still
I mean, yeah, any relationship with God is the same as being with a human, in my eyes. Yeah. And like I said, you can talk to Him, He can talk to you. So like when you pray, don't make it so one-sided, because a conversation goes two ways. So you gotta kind of, like we do at church camps, we do first fruits, where we just sit there and we just close our eyes, pray for a minute, and then just listen. Listen to the birds, listen to, like when we're at the beach, listen to the beach. Just kind of listen, and sort of God will kind of give you ideas and stuff to do. But also something to go back to the worship thing, and Lane can testify that this happened at our church camp that we went to. There during worship, in the other songs, not many people would have raised their hands or do anything. But there's one song, "Gratitude" by Brandon Lake, where it specifically says, "I throw up my hands and praise you again and again." And then just everyone basically was doing it. So I feel like when you're with God, don't do something when you're specifically told to do it. Just do it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Also, if
Background noise, I'm
there's
very sorry.
any noise. So
We had a hard time scheduling filming,
Yes.
and we're just trying to get it in, real quick.
And
Because we
left
care about showing stuff to you, because maybe you don't always get to hear
We
the
left
word.
a note up there, but it's clear.
Yeah, I even
Ignore
told
it.
our youth pastor fellow. But it's okay. I mean, humans are going to be humans. You can't hate them. Sindge, you look like you have something ready to go.
I'm ready, my guy.
I feel like we're cutting you off, and I'm very sorry.
No, we're good.
Matthew, can I have a sip of this?
I'd like to talk to the lost a little bit. Or I'd like to show you a couple verses. Romans 10:9 says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. So I mean, man, God, I really don't know how any way else to put this, but God is always there, and you can always call on him to save you. As Christians, it is all of our job to spread the gospel and spread the word. And then here's another one, Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and come short to the glory of God. But
I like that verse. That was
I
the
do
verse
too.
when I got saved at your
Mhm.
church. There was
Yeah.
a mini camp, and I went one night with one of my friends, and they told that verse, and then they were like, if you don't, they made us pray or close our eyes. Of course, nobody's closing their eyes. I did because I'm a good kid. And you're like, if you don't know Jesus, if you've never been saved, raise your hand. I'm like, oh.
I don't
Right.
know that guy.
And then I knew everybody knew it was me because I'm not very quiet getting up out of the seat when we're crisscross applesauce. But yeah, and then I just feel my friend go right on my shoulder. I'm like, you're not supposed to know this. You're not supposed to know I did that. They're running. There's no running in the house. That's what my mom always said. And they're doing it right above us. I hope y'all can't hear that. But yeah, that verse has a very special place because they used that verse whenever I got saved to kind of push it into my mind. That was such a great feeling too because I told my dad, he came and picked me up.
Yep.
I thought I was so cool. I thought I was awesome. It's
So-
cool to be a Christian. Know that. Cool kids get saved.
So there's so much talk about doing wrong, but then in the Bible it talks about all these great people like Noah, Jonah, and Moses, and Abraham, and all them people. But I saw this thing actually on Instagram, and it says Noah got drunk, Jonah ran away, Moses stuttered, Abraham was old, Lazarus was dead, Peter had a temper, David had an affair, Zacchaeus was short, Martha was nervous, Paul was a murderer, Jacob was a cheater, Gideon was insecure, Sarah was impatient, Elijah was depressed, Miriam was gossiper, and Thomas was a doubter. Yeah. And it says God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called.
That's insanely
And
good saying.
I said that to them yesterday. I really, really liked that.
That's
What's wrong with being short?
you're not short. You're not short. But yeah,
It's a sin. No, I'm joking.
Short.
I am joking. I'm joking.
There's like a gate or something that just disappears.
Yeah. Another quote I really, really liked was, "It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way."
Yeah.
That is very true. I really like that one.
Yeah, you have to cast all your pains and anxieties on God.
And that can be hard. It really
It can be very hard because you think you can do it yourself, but
You
in
can't.
reality, you cannot do it by yourself.
It doesn't work. I would want to take a second though. Anxiety sucks. It really does. I know it does. And if you do have anxiety, I do encourage you to somehow find the time to pray about it. Anxiety, depression, any mental health. Mental health is I would say almost more serious than, physical health at some points.
Yeah.
Because people just get with their thoughts, and if you're struggling with anything mental, I truly, truly hope if you're hearing this that you can reach out to someone, even though it may feel uncomfortable. Like we've said it today already. don't stay in that same spot. Try to get out of it, but don't try to get out of it in the wrong way.
If you can't talk to anyone, talk to God.
Exactly. And I really encourage you to build up even if you have very little faith in God right now. If you're hearing this and you have anything mental, that's depression, anxiety, anything. Just find a little bit of faith. The faith of a mustard seed is what it's often referred to, and that can save you. I urge you to find that and to pray about it, because God can get rid of anything. I know He can. But, people also do say don't use God as a wishing well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go
Found a
pray and
genie.
be like, give me a Lamborghini and $1 billion. That's not how it works, because there's more things to
When I was
life than
little-
that anyways.
When I was little, I used to pray for Lego sets.
Legos are so cool. I'll say that. Lego sets are
And did
cool.
you get them?
No.
Hey,
I was-
sometimes God doesn't give you the things you want,
Yeah.
just to show you the importance
that's a very
of
good
how little
topic to
importance
talk
you
about.
have.
Like,
You go.
yeah, no, God knows what's better for you. He knows better for you. So sometimes you'll pray for things, whether it's a Lego set or like something a lot more serious, like someone's health. He knows what's better, and He has a plan.
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged if you don't get what you want, or don't get mad at Him. He knows what's best for you.
He
And it's just the same as the people of Babel. They wanted a big town that would get themselves fame, which this may, I think, only me and Lincoln and Sam may understand this. If you've ever read The Man That Corrupted Hadleyburg, they were so obsessed with their reputation of being honest that they were not honest at all.
Yeah.
And it's just that.
The analogy that my dad always used is we had this dog named Tucker, and Tucker would always want to go outside and play on the road by my house. You know what I'm talking about. And we wouldn't let him, and he would get mad at us for not, because he wanted to go play on the road. But we knew it was best for him to not go play on
Yeah.
the road. And that's the analogy he always uses. I think it's a simple way to put it.
Okay, so this is the last episode of our little Fall of Man series.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
try and.
If you want to
Or
see
do you
more
want to say something
series-
before?
I do want to say one thing. I really hope. I feel like we have enough people that see our Instagram right now. I mean, we had 40 likes at one point. 40 people is enough to ask us questions. I really want to see what some of y'all have to ask us,
Yeah.
because we're still growing too, and we're still young. And I really want to see if y'all have any questions for us that we can answer, if that's okay with y'all too. But if you do have questions and you don't want it to be an episode, my goodness, I hope y'all cannot hear that. That's loud. But if y'all do have questions and y'all don't want it answered on the podcast, that's fine with us.
Mhm.
I really want one day to, people start texting us or emailing us
I
or
want to
something.
have a whole podcast of just Q&As.
Yeah.
Wait, give that to him. Same again.
I want to have a whole podcast of just Q&As sometime.
That would
That's
be
like my dream right now.
that would be insane. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, my dad found Cliff. He watches Cliff.
Oh, great.
He goes,
Love
"Have
that.
you heard of Cliff?" I go, "Did you watch the introduction?" And he goes, "Yes." Did y'all mention Cliff? I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "My bad."
So
Dude, I love Cliff.
to put a little, I guess, bow on the whole topic of fall of man that we've been going over, it's if you fall from God, it's okay. We've all been there. Anyone that you ever speak to in your life has been there. It's just we got to get back up and keep marching, and God will lift us up and He will forgive you, no matter what it is, unless it's blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. But that's a whole different topic.
Get closer to the mic. I have no clue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then we can adjust it later.
Yeah.
You can. Sorry.
yeah, just even if, like I said a few episodes ago, our relationship with God isn't linear. It's not perfect. It'll have some problems. Stuff will happen. But you just got to get back up and keep fighting and keep walking to God. And eventually you'll make it to heaven.
Yeah, the best thing about being at rock bottom is the only way to go is up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only one way up. You got to remember.
Jesus.
Jesus. Are we ending with the same verse every time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say it today.
No, I'm saying it. I already got it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alrighty. Well, before we go, I'd like to apologize for any ambient noises you've heard during this.
We just really wanted to get the episode out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to film.
And prayers. By the time we're filming this, the hurricane hasn't hit.
Yeah.
So we don't know how it's going to happen. So prayers
has
for
hit?
anyone. No, not yet.
It's gonna hit tonight. I'm
Yeah,
well,
tomorrow.
yeah. This is
So-
pre-recorded. I don't know if we
Yeah.
mentioned that.
It's the 9th, I think.
This will be published on the 16th,
Yeah.
and we don't know the math of
So,
it, but anybody
We
that's
hope.
dealing with a hurricane.
Right?
And our sound guy is getting surgery. I don't know if that gives him away. It does in our hometown.
Yeah.
But prayers to him too, and all those who are hurt or getting over injuries. But are you saying the verse?
Yeah. To follow that up, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. My love be with you all in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Tomorrow needs you. I love y'all.
Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.